When a man hurts you, your first impulse might be to strike back immediately, to shout, demand answers, make him feel the same pain. But pause, take a breath. Isn't that what he expects? He anticipates tears, endless arguments, emotional texts, drenched in suffering. He wants you to chase him, proving how deeply you're wounded, because that's how he stays in control of the situation, of your emotions. Imagine instead doing the complete opposite, refusing to play his game, denying him the reaction he craves. That's when the real shift begins. Carl Jung said a person's shadow reveals itself most clearly in moments of silence and self-reflection. By refusing to be the predictable, wounded woman he's cast you as, you force him to confront the reflection of his own actions, depriving him of the familiar conflict that served as his justification. Silence, used consciously, becomes a weapon. It creates an emotional vacuum, a space where he's left alone with his demons. Jung observed that people fear emptiness. It inevitably leads to internal conflict, forcing them to face aspects of themselves they'd rather ignore. The man who hurt you subconsciously expects your despair, impulsive reactions. It lets him justify what he did. If you cry, plead, he feels in control. But when you simply withdraw, without explanations, without reaching out, without showing pain, he faces something new, disorienting. He can't manage your feelings anymore. It undermines his behavior at its core. Men are wired differently. Many go through life believing they can hurt a woman and move on, consequences free. This is because often women do act predictably. They pursue, cause scenes, try to wring out explanations. But the real turning point comes when you refuse to participate, when you remove yourself entirely from the equation, when he realizes there's no argument, no fight, no effort on your part to reach him. That's when true regret can take root. He assumed you'd be like the others, predictable, emotional, available, always ready to battle for his attention. But when he sees you've simply vanished, without visible signs of suffering, something within him starts to crumble. Men process emotions differently than women. While a woman might heal through tears, talking, expressing feelings, a man often tries to ignore, distract, pretend nothing happened. But when you cut off your energy flow completely, he can't just sweep it all under the rug. He might try to act unaffected. The lack of familiar chaos forces him to confront what he always avoids, the void left by your absence. And in that void, his shadow begins to grow. Jung explained that when a person loses control over another, when they realize their influence has been abruptly cut off, their psyche enters internal conflict. It's the moment he starts questioning his choices, re-evaluating his behavior toward you, because for the first time, he faces the idea he can't just carry on like nothing happened. Understand? This shouldn't be a game, a manipulation. It's about reclaiming your power. Too many women waste their lives trying to convince a man to value them, spending days and nights explaining their pain to someone who isn't even listening. True strength lies in realizing you don't need his approval, his explanation, his permission to move on. The moment you decide you won't give another second of your time, another drop of your energy, another tear, to someone who failed to appreciate you, you seize control of your life. It's then he grasps something devastating. He's truly lost you. Only then, maybe too late, does he begin to understand what he had. When a man sees you not just coping, but thriving, becoming a stronger, brighter version of yourself, the weight of his mistake becomes unbearable. As Carl Jung said, the deepest changes happen not through external conflicts, but through internal upheaval. When someone faces the consequences of their actions in the silence of their own mind, your silence, your withdrawal, creates that situation, a space where he's alone with his thoughts, unable to blame your emotionality or reactions. It's a moment of truth. Masks fall away. All that's left is the fact. He lost something valuable. The cause lies solely in his behavior. The most important part is your own liberation. As long as you play his game, your energy stays tied to him. When you step back, it all returns to you, giving you strength for a new chapter. You stop being a character in his story. You become the author of your own. That's the greatest victory. It doesn't depend on whether he realizes his mistake. People value things only when they face their absence. Real, irreversible, leaving a void. But the real turning point is when he understands. Your absence isn't a loss for you. It's become a powerful impulse for growth. He expected to see a broken woman, pining for the past. Instead, he finds someone reborn from the ashes. This image becomes unbearable for him. There's nothing more powerful than a woman who chooses herself. When you invest in your own development, your happiness, your peace, he asks a question he's never considered before. Was I really that important to her? Jung said, the human psyche falls into crisis when it loses the illusion of control. The man who hurt you, confident you'd always be there, suddenly faces doubt. He needs to believe he was the best thing that ever happened to you. But when he sees your life hasn't collapsed without him, it's brighter, fuller, the foundation of his ego cracks. The most beautiful part? You're not doing it for him. You're not changing your appearance, traveling, working toward your goals to make him jealous or regretful. You're doing it for yourself. True transformation starts when the engine is internal, not external. As Jung noted, the psyche's greatest victory is attaining wholeness, without needing approval. Your success, your development, your self-awareness become living proof of a simple truth. He was never essential to your happiness. When this man sees the woman he underestimated now shines brighter than ever, regret overwhelms him. There's a deeper psychological effect. Many women mistakenly believe that forgiving means giving someone a second chance. Forgiveness is a gift you give yourself. Jung explained, true emotional freedom comes when we let go of resentment, but don't allow those who hurt us to occupy the same place in our lives. Men don't learn from words. They learn from consequences. If he lied, manipulated, betrayed your trust, and you take him back unchanged, he won't improve. He'll just be more careful next time. But when he realizes his actions had a real price, when he lost a woman who was truly worthwhile, the lesson sinks in. You don't need to be angry, or shout, or prove anything. Just remove him from the pedestal he put himself on. Jung said the psyche resists change until there's no other choice. When a man sees the door he walked out of is now closed, that he can't access your attention, your emotions, your life, regret hits him with full force. Many women fail here. They cling to men who've proven their unworthiness. Letting go isn't weakness, it's strength. Knowing your value means refusing to accept less than you deserve. When you walk through life with that certainty, not looking back, not letting his actions define your self-worth, you don't just throw him off balance. You force him to face a painful truth. He lost something he can never get back. When a man hurts you, the instinctive reaction is to cry, beg, even seek revenge. Those actions only confirm his expectations. Real strength, the kind that truly throws him for a loop, is redirecting all your energy towards something greater, yourself. Carl Jung said true transformation starts when we stop projecting our pain onto others and turn inward. The man who hurt you believes you'll be stuck in the past, monitoring his social media, waiting for a return that may never happen. But when he realizes your absence isn't a loss, it's liberation, something breaks within him. That something? His belief in his own indispensability. A man only values what he fears losing. As long as he's sure you're suffering in the shadows, waiting for him, he doesn't feel the consequences of his actions. But the moment he sees you moving forward, evolving, shining without him, he faces undeniable proof. His influence is over. That might be the most painful lesson of his life. Remember, your goal isn't his regret. It's your freedom. When you focus on yourself, the world adjusts to your new rhythm. He may realize his mistake or not. It's not your concern. You're already where he may never reach. That's your victory. The scariest truth for a man, realizing he wasn't as irreplaceable as he imagined. Carl Jung explained that the male psyche is structured around a deep need for control and predictability. As long as a man feels he can influence a woman's emotions, manage her reactions, he doesn't think about the consequences of his actions. But when he faces your calm withdrawal, without scenes, without reproaches, without visible traces of suffering, doubt awakens. It slowly erodes him from the inside. He starts painfully pondering, was I really so important to her? Was losing me a tragedy or liberation? This gnawing uncertainty is destructive to the male psyche. Every man subconsciously wants to believe he's the best thing that ever happened to a woman. When he sees you've grown, become happier, realized your potential without him, his entire illusion of importance collapses. For the male ego, Nothing is more painful than realizing his own replaceability. Jung emphasized, true emotional maturity begins when a woman stops seeking confirmation of her value in a man's eyes. She finds wholeness within herself. That's when a magical transformation happens. You're no longer the woman he left. You become the woman he lost. That changes everything. Instead of plunging into suffering, take up a sport. Not to inspire his admiration, but to feel the strength and beauty of your own body. Update your wardrobe, not to make him regretful, but to feel irresistible. Invest your energy in your goals and dreams. Redirect all those emotions you used to waste on him toward your own development. When you start doing this, something amazing happens. Your internal frequency changes. You stop vibrating on a frequency of pain and despair. You start radiating confidence and self-sufficiency. It's like a magnet. You unexpectedly start attracting people and opportunities you deserve. Your radiance becomes natural, effortless, not needing an audience or approval. That's when he realizes, with dread, he's lost something valuable, not because you played games or manipulated, because your transformation is authentic, deep, undeniable. How many women spend years trying to prove their worth to a man who never learned to value them? The truth is, you don't need to prove anything. The most crushing response you can give is to show, with your entire being, he was just a chapter in your book, not the whole story. When he sees you thriving without him, breathing easily in your new life, your absence hasn't broken you but freed you, he grasps the depth of the loss. It has nothing to do with wanting to make him jealous or get revenge. It's about your daily choices, choosing yourself again and again, no matter what. Jung taught us true strength appears when we rise to a level of consciousness where other people's actions no longer dictate our emotions. The real victory isn't revenge. It's deep internal transformation. Forgiveness isn't a gift for him. It's a priceless gift to yourself, freeing you from the heavy burden of resentment you've carried for so long. Men, Jung observed, don't learn through words. They learn through the consequences of their actions. If he lied, neglected you, and you take him back unchanged, he won't improve. He'll just learn to better hide his faults. But when you leave without explanation, not giving a second chance, without causing a scene, the lesson sinks in. You don't need to shout about your pain. Don't stage dramatic goodbyes. Your calm silence, your complete absence from his life, will speak volumes. He'll understand your value only when he loses all access to you. Psychologists note, most men try to return, driven not by love, but by injured egos. A woman who knows her worth never opens the door to someone who's proven their unworthiness. As Jung said, psychological growth starts when we break the vicious cycles of painful relationships. Don't let him come and go from your life as he pleases. End the cycle. Go forward, not to make him regretful, but for your bright future. When you choose yourself, you win, regardless of whether he realizes it. When you choose yourself, that's the real victory. A man might realize you've moved on and try to return. The worst thing you can do is take him back as if nothing happened. Many women make that mistake. He apologizes, writes touching messages, pretends to repent, and suddenly has access to your life again. Carl Jung warned that destructive patterns break only with a complete severance of the cycle. If you let him come and go as he pleases, you teach him he can cause pain, disappear, return without consequences. A man who knows he can always return will never value you enough. The only way to make him understand your worth is to deprive him of the privilege of having you in his life. That must come from self-respect, not anger or revenge. Jung explained that self-knowledge leads to individuation, the process of establishing a whole personality without external validation. You can forgive him internally. Wish him well. That doesn't mean he deserves the same place in your life. Forgiveness isn't an indulgence for a new start. It's personal liberation. Reality is harsh. Men respect what they can't have. When he realizes the doors once open are now closed, he's forced to face the consequences. As long as there's a chance of return, he won't feel true loss. But when he realizes your presence is no longer recoverable, the blow hits him hard. Jung noted that a person changes only when they realize irreversible loss. That's when reflection starts. Not from sentimentality, but because the void you left is filled with nothing. Key point: a man will change only if he cared. Genuine regret isn't just realizing the loss, it's re-evaluating his patterns. If he's trying to return only because of losing control, he's unchanged. A woman who knows her value isn't fooled by empty words. She understands strength isn't in giving chances to the unworthy. It's in moving forward without looking back. Harsh truth. Real transformation rarely comes from losing a woman. Change is possible only if he's confronted his shortcomings. Jung emphasized growth starts with facing the shadow. For many men, the only way to see their mistakes is to lose what they considered guaranteed. Your decision to leave remains right, regardless of his changes. If he needed to lose you to understand your value, he never truly valued you. Many women cling to men who've proven their unworthiness. Jung called this fear of the future, disguised as attachment to the past. Letting go isn't weakness, but a show of strength. It's clear understanding of your value and refusal to accept less. When you reconcile with the past and direct your energy to building the future, you don't just heal, you become invulnerable. The ultimate truth, your happiness never depended on another person. Acting with such certainty and self-respect doesn't just throw him off balance. It forces him to realize the scope of the loss. Jung said a person understands depth only through absence. A man who considered you a backup option faces a cruel awakening. The woman he knew is gone. You can forgive. That doesn't mean reopening doors. Forgiveness doesn't justify the past. It doesn't erase the pain. It frees you from the burden of resentment. Holding on to pain hurts only you, chaining you to a place where you no longer belong. True forgiveness isn't for him. It's for you. An act of reclaiming power over your emotions. That's the difference between a woman chained to the past and a woman rising above it. While one is stuck in bitterness, the other is freed. Men don't learn through words. They learn from consequences. When they face the irreversible loss of what they considered a given, your strength lies in your ability to turn pain into fuel for your ascent. When you rise high enough, his regret no longer matters. You're already where he'll never reach. When a man finally realizes he destroyed what he can never get back, there's an important psychological turning point. When he realizes the door that was once open is now closed forever, he experiences more than regret. He faces a cruel truth. Your indifference has become his harshest punishment. You can explain endlessly, argue, list all his mistakes. Until he faces the real consequences of his actions, he'll never understand the scope of his error. Carl Jung repeatedly emphasized, real change in a person happens only when they're forced to face the results of their actions. If you take him back too easily, close your eyes to empty apologies, broken promises, he'll inevitably continue treating you the same. People start valuing only what they can lose. If he doesn't feel that loss, if he doesn't face its consequences, he'll never learn to truly value you. Withdrawing doesn't require drama or loud statements. You don't need to beg for closure. Exhaust yourself trying to prove you're right. Just end the cycle. Your silence becomes the most eloquent response. The male psyche subconsciously expects an emotional reaction. He expects you to fight for him. Leave the door ajar, in case he changes his mind. When you disappear without explanation, not leaving the slightest crack, he feels true loss for the first time. Nothing is more sobering for a man than realizing his influence on you has disappeared without a trace. His words no longer find that click in your heart. Truth. Most men try to return. Always. When they realize they can no longer take you for granted. At that crucial moment, you face a choice. Return to the destructive cycle? Firmly show that actions have consequences? Jung explained, the human psyche forms through repeated patterns of behavior. If you take a person back without them having learned their lesson, you confirm they can cause pain. Disappear. Return when it suits them. Close that door completely. No exceptions. No concessions to emotional manipulation. A turning point happens in his mind. He expected your absence to cause your despair. Instead, he's lost and confused. At that turning point, when he finally realizes his actions had a real price, he feels the full weight of his choice. Instead of clinging to someone who doesn't deserve you, you calmly move forward. True strength was always in you, not in him. A man who knows he can always return will never take you seriously. The illusion of control holds many men in a vicious circle. They believe they can hurt a woman, return to her when they please. The door's closed forever. He understands there's no way back. Reality hits him. Jung. A person learns only from direct experience. No teacher is more severe than irreversible loss. A man starts respecting only what he can't have. If his regret is sincere, It's dictated by a need to change. If change doesn't happen, if he continues living as if nothing happened, your decision to leave was right. Jung warned, not everyone is ready to face their shadow. Some just don't want to grow. It's not your job to carry the weight of someone else's immaturity. Letting go isn't weakness. It's inner strength. It's living proof that you respect yourself. Know your value. Refuse to settle for scraps. Some lessons are learned only through pain. Some truths reach us only through loss. Your mission isn't to be someone's teacher, to train them emotionally. When you choose yourself, when you go forward, not looking back, you mess with those who underestimated you. You prove your life continues upward, independently. True strength appears in refusing to let the past define your present and future. Jung said, to be who we truly are, we must let go of all that no longer serves us. That includes those who couldn't appreciate you. Many women wrongly believe male evaluation defines their value. Your value was always inside you, not in someone's eyes. A man who truly deserves a place in your life isn't someone you need to persuade to treat you well. He lifts you higher. The irony, the moment he understands you're no longer available, your energy no longer revolves around him, something irreversibly collapses inside him. That realization comes too late. The version of you that knows its value has gone far ahead. She'll never look back. The real victory isn't making him regretful. It's becoming indifferent to whether he regrets it.